Okay, it's recording. So, all right. So, tell
Uh,
everybody what
yeah.
happened to your
So
Discord account.
yeah, it's not unexpected, I guess, but um, the the issue. Oh, come on! You're gonna crash now? Are you there?
I can see you,
Oh,
and I
okay,
can hear you well. So,
okay. Um, the we were just watching George, and we were sort of discussing that there was a bit of banter back and forth, and then it just went automatically. And I'm going to send you in the message. No, you know what? I'm going to forward you an email that was just sent to me now, and this guy thinks this is the reason that he got that we got banned. He put a post into the main chat about
have we noticed it? Have you noticed this guy before? His
uh
handle?
no, no. And I mean, he seems sort of pretty apologetic, but it was a link to a interview with Chris Hedges. Are you familiar with Chris Hedges?
Chris Hedges. A little bit, not so familiar.
Yeah, but he takes kind of an activist stance a lot of the time.
Okay.
And I mean, it could have been that, or the other thing was uh, we were watching George, right? And I don't know if the discussion about George, because there was a lot of back and forth about that, about who was right and wrong, CNN setting him up, and so we watched the CNN piece. We went
Hmm.
to the clip that George had made, which is about an hour and I want to say an hour and 43 minutes,
Hmm.
and he was laying out the
Well, there was not just the clip that you're talking about, but there was actually a article written
oh as well.
about yeah on CNN's website.
Wow. I'm just going to forward you the email.
It's talking
Uh,
about conspiracy theorists, and it's talking about
yeah,
Webb.
yeah. So basically, the journalist at CNN is calling him out as a conspiracy theorist,
Right.
right?
They're trying to frame him like Alex Jones. They're
Yeah,
trying to they're trying to paint an Alex Jones picture over George Webb.
yeah,
And Webb did lots of journalistic research on this.
yeah, yeah. There was
Lots.
there, there was nothing in there that for me was uh, toxic in the way that you were. That was a newspaper article, or a sort of good long web-based uh, bit of investigative journalism, and to have
Mhm.
it just whipped away, or to have something as powerful as CNN basically switch the narrative to you're a conspiracy theorist and essentially a right-wing conspiracy theorist, and there seems to obviously he had a run-in with them before where he had been doing his job, and there was a poor shutdown because of they thought I don't know the full details of the story, but the um he felt that he got framed in that particular situation by the FBI, and so there's a lot of I guess heat on him. So I don't know if you've got that email or not, but you can see the other link that it might be. But there just needs to be a warning uh, put out right now. So we'd put a lot of effort into maintaining that Discord. There was a huge amount of information in it with respect to
Oh, he was
um,
on Jimmy Dore's show. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I saw just a clip of this. Yeah, I saw a clip of this.
is it worth watching? But I don't know if we can get in touch with him. But that was that server was active all the time. It was just collating papers all the time, and there was some pretty smart people on there, just sort of going
Well,
backwards and forth.
what's stopping you from creating a new one?
Oh, I am creating a new one, but it was just the
You'll get
fact.
populated very quickly. It'll
But
get
it was
very,
just
but it's they're going to be playing whack-a-mole with us. They're going to whack us down and we'll pop up again. But the thing here is that this is real. What's happening is that Smith Modernization Act that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
CNN and MSNBC, possibly parts of Fox, but all these mainstream media networks, their goal is to discredit people like you, I, George, and others.
Yeah.
Cliff High. I mean, look at what happened to Stefan Molyneux. Look at what happened with Mike Adams. We're all targeted, and they don't want to hear the truth. And the truth is this: the U.S. made a weapon.
Yeah.
The CCP enhanced the weapon.
Yeah.
And we have a big problem on our hands, and they don't want to. The real, quote, the real journalists, the ones that are in mainstream media, the mainstream media journalists, they're not doing their job. All they're doing is trying to discredit or try to debunk us.
Yeah, it was
and create.
right?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
And George, I think handled it very much like a consummate professional. He had a really good setup to the actual interview, and you know, he, with spectacular precision, I would argue, laid out each and every part of his investigation. And you know, he was clear that any focus on Benassi was purely from a medical record standpoint. Where did she test positive for the antibodies? Was there something from, because we know there's a relationship between the flu vaccine, and so those that get the flu shot tend to have an elevated risk for coronavirus, right? And perhaps before you know, she's had a flu shot, something's happened, and there's an antibody that's, you know, maybe somewhat selective for the antibody test. And well, and then, you know, there's just that paper trail of I don't know what you would call it. I mean, it's not sort of spy behavior, but things going missing off trucks, nuclear material, right? And these are not small things. And this, when the structure of the scientific bedrock is being eroded like this, right? Because that was the sort of guard that kept Western civilization in sort of place, right? That we had this ability to say, well, you know, we can quantify, measure, and do stuff, and we can track stuff with high precision, right? And that, in my opinion, is breaking down right now, right? And if they want to come and,
well, this is what happened during Mao, where they started executing or sending away the academics, the professors, the teachers, so they could control the society. They get rid of people like you or I, and it's going to be easier and easier to control the masses, because our job, that at least that's the job that I see that we have, is to educate the populace, to try to show them what the reality of the situation is. They don't want that because they want the control.
And I agree. I mean, it's not that I didn't expect. I expected the YouTube and the Twitter. I mean, Twitter's gone multiple times already, so yeah, I'm used to that.
I'm surprised that Discord did this. I actually I thought it was a little bit more, you know, kind of like free flowing.
Yeah, but
because there's no ad revenue. There's no ad revenue or anything to it.
Right. And
so I'm just surprised that they were able to pull the plug like that.
I don't know. And like I say,
the only way to survive through this, Kevin, is to say we have to band together and raise the alarm.
Yeah. So it's sort of circle the wagons, and you know, if someone gets taken down, and like I say, that was a valuable resource for hundreds of people to go and read papers, articles, and to hear us. That was us. That was my channel for linking up across multiple servers when we talk, or I'm just sort of doing breakdowns to the science.
Now the data that was in that, is that all lost, or can it be re-uploaded, or?
So I had someone backing it up, but his PC went down. And he's somewhat ill. There's some backup to it. I've got all the academic papers, not all of them, but the ones that sort of count
Mhm.
for where we're sort of making the stand. But this
But what do you think is what do you think is, besides opening up a new Discord account and telling the public what happened to you and Webb?
mm,
But what should we do as a collective body? What's the next big move? Should we start calling this reporter and saying, hey, where is your proof that these are conspiracy theories? Because you are giving proof that these were very
right.
real situations that are
Mm,
killing people.
yeah.
That, that the situation is happening, people are getting ill and people
Mm,
are dying from a weapons program that leaked out.
mm,
And why aren't you, as a journalist,
yeah.
asking the big questions like,
Right. That's
where were
that's
Burks?
yeah.
Where was Burks during the weapons program at
Mm,
Fort Detrick in the 1990s? What
yep.
about Redfield? What about
Mm,
Fauci writing the checks to
yep.
enhance this bioweapon over at P4?
Yep.
Where were you? So I mean, maybe that's what I need to do. Maybe I need to call the guy and just say, hey, what, and just film it and just say, hey, CNN, they got a
Yeah.
headquarters in New York. I have no problems, going over there and having a nice chat.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something like that needs to be done, and you need to make as much noise as possible. I know it's not YouTube or um, something as common or hard hitting, and it was not a massive channel, but it's enough that they would just say, oh, it's building up, and we don't like the tenor of that site, which was just science. I mean, it was a bit based science, I would say, right? We were.
Well, think about it. You were proving through using the scientific method and working with others
mm,
that there is a coordinated effort
mm,
to hide the reality,
yeah,
and that there's an agenda, and
mm,
that agenda is sinister. I mean,
yeah,
and people, if the masses really found out what the real agenda was
mm,
and were able to connect the dots like you were
mm,
on Discord, they would uprise and have that Boston Tea Party moment
mm.
that we were
Well,
talking about.
yeah. So literally, what would I talk about on there that would make them say, well, that's a um, site of misinformation? I was saying, I don't think the vaccine strategy is a good way to go. I think it a high risk one for the American public, because as I described, I just think it's at one of those sort of cultural break points that we need to be aware of. And if they try to do it, then that's probably your Boston Tea Party moment, when they do say, when they come out with the injection needles. I think that's probably it. But up till then, there's going to be sort of warning shots, right? So that includes, it started back with Alex Jones and who was the other
Mike
one that
Adams.
talked?
It happened to Mike Adams. It happened to David Icke.
Yeah,
It,
Owen Benjamin, Bearbrain. He got knocked off everything, and
also the demonetization,
mhm,
serious demonetization of certain big channels like Stefan Molyneux and
right,
Steven Crowder.
right,
I mean, all these people that were just, one, exercising their First Amendment,
mhm,
and secondly, they were, in my mind, speaking the truth that was antithetical to what the mainstream narrative
mm,
was being projected. And we all need to band together, or it will all be Alex Jones.
yeah, and like I said, I don't know the thing to do right now. All I'm doing is just, I've got minimal contact on my Skype, and that Discord was my main sort of channel to a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people, right? And so that's been taken back. I don't, like I say, I'm hoping the backup is.
So how you have a backup of Discord?
So I've got an alternative channel. So if you see that email that I sent you, there should be a Discord link in it. Can you just try joining?
All I have is like a piece of, all it is a picture.
Let me just try
I don't have a link. It's just a picture.
I'm just copying your link. Let me put it in the no, I'll do
I
it
don't
by
have a
link.
Discord account.
You can sort of set it up in browser. It should be really quick, but what I would suggest is mass mail it out on like everyone on
No,
the
what I'll do is I'll put the link in the description box. I'll put it on my Twitter. I'll put it on my Facebook. I'll put it on my LinkedIn. That alone will reach about probably close to about 65,000 people.
Okay, and I was sort of nudging people on Twitter that I have had interviews with, but I think the person to we need to shake Stefan a little bit, get him. Hopefully, he'll sort of get his support. That there was nothing on there that was, well.
Were you set up for an interview with Stefan yet, or no?
Yeah, I've done one with him. The problem was that he basically sort of gave me half an hour's notice, and there was a clash with my OBS and the camera and the Skype, so it just there wasn't it was difficult to have like a free. The camera just looked shaky. The audio was fine, but the camera just looked shaky. And I basically I wrote to him earlier, and I just said, look, and it's very probable that the no virus people flagged me, right? That could be an issue. That they've said that.
Yeah, but the thing is, what's shocking is how could they have the high ground for the narrative? Right. How could the non-germ theorists, have the high ground and tell us, the germ theorists, that we're conspiracy theorists? I mean, this is crazy. Everything is upside down. 1984 Orwellian.
Yeah, and this. Like I say, things are accelerating, obviously, right? And so that's, in these complex metastable systems, that's how it tends to go till, you get the dimension shift or expansion. And I like to think of it as sort of how neural networks sort of build up, the voltage, and then they snap, right? And the action potential is propagated. And, I would make the argument that we're looking at something like that right now. There's a
I think we're approaching a threshold. That threshold point.
It's an inflection point in this very chaotic or metastable chaotic system. Okay, and it's going along, but the oil has dropped, and there's international pressure with China, and the drums of war are beating. People are getting pissed because they're being asked to stay in their houses and just cover for this thing. But so everyone's done that and everyone's behaved, right? And this is the thing. Think of the people that have done that and said, okay, I've got children and stuff, but they still need to go out to work. That sacrifice that they've made in this situation where, okay, they're at home. Well, you at least should be able to use the tools available on your computer, because that's what most people are going to use, but suddenly they come under risk, right? So that we can't even talk to each other anymore in this situation. That to me is well, like you say, it's upside down world. And I guess next is my YouTube account. They'll nuke that, and they'll keep flagging it. But I mean, I wrote to them and I said, why did you ban it, right? I explained to them, I am a published scientist, I've got an international reputation. Why are you banning Discord that's actually trying to sort of counter the narrative of, what looks like that it's Orwellian jackboots.
You know what I think you should do? I think you should get on Richie from Boston.
Yeah, but I'm just
And the idea is that you use his platform
Mm.
to rebuild your Discord
Mm.
by trying to discredit the main guy, who's Kaufman, on his
Yeah.
channel.
Yeah, I think, but I don't think Richie will go for that because it's
Why not?
because he's bought into that narrative, right? He's on the
No, but
chemtrails.
but what you could say is that the big state shut you down as a scientist, and you're trying to you're trying to inform the public, and then you hijack his show and then start tearing down Kaufman. You don't bring up Kaufman at the beginning. You don't even bring up Kaufman when you start talking to him why you want to be on a show. You just, and then you hijack a show and just start tearing Kaufman apart. I mean, hopefully live.
Yeah, I mean that would be good. And like I say, it's hard to get through to him because it seems to me those big channels, once they sort of get to a few 100,000, it looks like there's some sort of consortium running them. There's like a lot of the
I'm still listening to you. You might not see me, but I'm still listening to you.
That's okay.
Go ahead.
That it seems like there's some sort of consortium that's running the what would you call it? It's like a business model, right? And so they're all part of a little group, and so you can't get a contact to him directly, and not through YouTube, and I don't see an email, and I would someone needs to tell me how to get in touch with him, and any podcast that would just let me speak and say that look, even the pro science, what should be the normal domain, right? Yeah, okay, it's a bit
well, they're starting to knock down these MDs and DOs.
Okay.
That are on our side, stating, hey, this is a serious problem, and Fauci was involved and stuff like that, and they're getting pulled down. So it's the whole scientific community.
Yeah, and
and even the first responders, that are on the ground, trying to solve this problem. So we all have to band together because there is this Smith monetization is for real, and it's happening right now, and they're trying to control the narrative. They're trying to control the domestic propaganda.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like that, and they could probably say that, well, I'm outside the US, I'm not covered by those First Amendment protections that you have, so it's easier to knock out my Discord, right? They don't feel
but you have a lot of friends that are in America that are trying to help you,
right? And so I think that's what. So if you need sort of issues to get round, right? So this is where you can make trying to go against doing non-compliance with the quarantine, right? It's probably going to be problematic, but something like this, where it's supposed to be, this is the real break of the Constitution, which is the right to free speech and share information and free association, right? And that just got taken away from a lot of people that were using it, not just in America, but globally as well. And that for me is, quite shocking, because the antithesis of what I was doing and what we were going against are probably just still churning along just fine. And I mean, I'll probably get more housework done now. I'm not on Discord, but just no warning, nothing, right? Just boom, it was like the app shut down. And
who owns Discord?
I have no idea.
I mean, is it a corporation, or was this kind of like a crowdsourced kind of thing?
It seems pretty pro. So let's try and find out. I mean, maybe it's like a Facebook offshoot, but or Twitter offshoot, but like I say, if that's literally Jason Citron, co-founder and CEO of Discord Crunchbase, 150 million users. I mean, there's a wiki page about him. I mean, I guess the 150 million users is no small number. I wonder how he's making. The company raised an additional $20 million in funding from software in December. The company has 150 million in funding at a $2 billion valuation. Jesus.
Wow. All right, so it's corporate. I mean, it's to a level that's corporate now.
Mm.
See, I thought it was a crowdsourced thing.
I mean, it seemed pretty free flowing, and I enjoyed it. But that just shows you how quick that things can happen, right? So if that can happen on
well,
Discord,
it's similar to what happened in Iraq when we were doing Iraq, the Iraq
Shock
War
and awe.
One. Yeah, the shock. The shock and awe. You know, what did we do? No, that was Iraq 2. Iraq 1 was with George Bush Sr.
Oh yeah.
With Desert Shield, Desert Storm.
Right.
Well, what did they do at the beginning? They started shutting down their radar. They targeted down their radar before they did the mass invasion. So what they're doing is they're picking us off before they do the big move. Yeah, and they pick us off first.
Yeah, because we're making the noise right now. I don't see anything.
See, we're like this little we're like this little radio frequency that's pinging everybody and saying, hey, you know, you need to listen. That's what's going to come. It's coming. So what they're doing is they're shutting us down, prevents the masses from hearing the warning sign, and then they hit them with the vaccines and hit them with the E7 and the curtailment of the civil liberties and the Biopatriot Act and everything.
If you can't communicate with each other, right? That's it. You're literally on your own then, and then literally you're deep in enemy territory at that point, because you once those comms have gone, okay, and that's what I've been saying. You know, I've been on the calmer side with respect to how to proceed, but this for me is an indicator that, you know, it's an exponential rise in as the system reaches that inflection point and is gonna, you know, do whatever it does, jump up or down, you never know, right? And I would just try and warn as many people as possible. Put this stream up. Try to. I need to try and contact people that have been shut down. And I know it's only Discord, but I think at this point, even the smallest nudge, right, where they're saying, "Oh, that's a censorship issue," right, and it hasn't been brought up on Discord before. Not this. Not this type of banning. I don't know if they've banned it or just inactivated it, but
when they banned it, did they just take the material down? Did they close the account? What exactly happened? You no longer can log in, or what?
Yeah, so no logging in. Literally, I had the app, so it's not even in the browser, and it just automatically shut down. We were just typing away after watching the thing from George, and you know, we were all in agreement about what George was and how he handled it, right? And I didn't think it wasn't beyond anything that you wouldn't get in any game. There was no words used that wouldn't be used in a gaming environment, if you understand what I mean. You know, if there was any back and forth, and you got a dog.
Yeah, it's a rat terrier beagle.
Do you send it out rat hunting?
It has killed a rat.
Oh, nice.
in Battery Park, yeah. And it was
they
weird,
love it, right?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it just tears the head off. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, terriers are great. Good little dogs. I wish I had one. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like I say, thank you for just sort of stopping what you were doing and listening to this and trying to get it out. And I hope Kev Baker will pick it up. He's a 100,000 channel. I was just chatting to him earlier. But like I say, very, very.
Well, send me the link when you get it, if you have it, of the new Discord.
You should have it. Look in your
Skype or
email. Yeah, and it should have a link. Now my wife is calling me. I hope nothing's going on.
See, I have banned. The only thing I have from you is banned from Discord, but there's no link. There's no link. All I have is a picture.
Let me try just putting it in Discord. Not Discord, Skype. Wait one second.
Yeah, Skype. Just put the link in Skype, and I'll copy it. I'll copy it into the description box.
Yeah, man. And like I say,
and the people that, when I post this, the people that are listening, they need to realize that we all need to band together, and you should share Dr. McCairn's research. Post it on your Facebook accounts and LinkedIn's and your Twitters and Instagrams or whatever, and share it, emails, and this is how we're going to get around the censorship. And if people that are using Discord, go to his new Discord address and click it. It'll be in the description box, and we're just going to have to keep on, plugging away. And every time that you have something that you want me to retweet or put on my Facebook or whatever, I'll do, and then that will, gain some more traction. I'll do it also on my LinkedIn.
So I put the.
I get a lot of followers from LinkedIn, actually, which is surprising.
You know what LinkedIn has been good for? It's just Kaufman's previous colleagues who are professional are mortified is they keep sending me stuff and messaging me about some of the things he's been doing. Well, I mean, for me, it's a scientific issue, so I don't want to be sort of muckraking too much with him. But trust me, there's plenty to go over. And
well, I've always viewed Kaufman as a psyop. The way he launched himself on Richie from Boston just seemed too odd to me.
Yeah, and I would say the same. It just, and once you've got links to university psychiatric departments, and those are off, especially in the past, right? If you look at the
MKUltras,
that all that shit's real, man. Right?
I know, and it came from, and Harvard was heavily involved in it. There is a trail between the Unabomber and Harvard, and that was through MKUltra.
And
because he was one of the subjects, he was one of the test subjects.
And they were just dosing him up, and that was sort of coming up on Joe Rogan this week, where he'd been interviewing someone, and he just got really into it and spent 20 years sort of researching the Unabomber. What's his name again? I forget.
But the Unabomber?
Yeah.
Ted Kaczynski.
Yeah, and basically they were saying they were letting him out of prison deliberately, giving him mass doses of LSD every day, right? So the thing with LSD, there's a cumulative effect that you have to do to get the psychedelic component. If you already do like one, say you take an active dose, 150 milligrams, usually you have to wait a week or so for the biochemistry to reset for them to, right? But they were just over and over and overdosing him on LSD, and then basically having, by the sounds of it, he was just sort of running prison wing, and then was sort of able to get the cult going, and the story is nuts. And I would think it would be naive to think that sort of programming has stopped, right? And so I indulge me a little here with, I think if you sort of look at that type of thinking, so if it's no germs or flat Earth, people might think, oh, there's not that many who buy into it, but it comes into the consciousness of the public, right? And what it does is it sort of creates this mistrust of
everything.
And the base reality. And then once those people are sort of hooked into those types of ideation, okay, they actually become much more easier to corral and manipulate, right? Because you get them into self-reinforcing bubbles, and then they that sounds right. You're gonna have, if they flick the switch like they've just done with me, okay, then you're gonna be in, the flat earths will go one way, and the no germers will go another, and the sovereign citizens will go another way, and once that fracture occurs, it would just be absolute chaos, I think. And that's always been my worry for the United States, is that because of of course it's great to be able to have those rights, but in a way there's a danger to it, because when that point comes, and people get pissed at police arresting mothers in the park because they've got kids, yet are forced to go shopping around one store, right, sharing everything, and that just looks like, it looks like a mad type of tyranny. A mad soft tyranny is being put in place, and there's events happening now, right, and they're just increasing in frequency, right, from a year ago or 2 years ago. I mean, even if you just took from Trump, right, to me a switch was flicked then, of just how crazy the US political scene seemed to get. It looked well, I've never seen anything like it in my lifetime. Even sort of Cold War tensions never led to what we're seeing now, and I see a sort of madness gripping hold of these people. So that little example that I used of the flat Earth or the no germers, that also applies to those larger groups of, let's just say, Democrat and that left right paradigm. So they're gonna splinter, and you're at a very treacherous inflection. It's building up, and that's why I was sort of saying, you've got to be careful about talk of, if you give them an excuse, they could switch us off right now, and then what do I do? The email, they block that, then okay, we're done. And if they do that for everyone else, so these actual conduits are actually really precious.
Well, I mean, that's part of the reason why I'm rebranding. Instead of me putting people's names, continuously or something like that, the idea is it's just branded as Coronavirus War Room. Well, so it's harder to block individuals because they're not on the title. Now the AI may recognize George Webb's voice, maybe, doubt it, but maybe it does. But I mean, but the thing is that we have to figure a way around it. But there is going to be a point in time, and I think it's very soon here, where it goes kinetic. Yeah, because because they're going to shut down more and more people like you and I.
I just gotta close this. Sorry about that. Someone just needs to check on George. Anyway, I've tried to Skype. He was talking to me earlier.
I talked to him earlier today to set up a 3-panel with Cliff High and myself on the weekend to do an episode, but
Can I jump in?
yeah, if you want, yeah, we can do
Yeah.
it.
I might do that. And with this
It'll be
CNN,
through Zoom. Yeah,
yeah, no problem. I'll
it'll be
take
on
Tom
the
back, so.
yeah, it'll be on the weekend. I haven't figured out the date, the if it's Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, right now, when we were discussing, that was just yesterday, dude.
I know.
It was just yesterday, and I was just saying, look, let's see how it starts planning out. And of course, I'm going to be a bit peeved because it's personal on me, but I would say, okay, this is just it's like a straw for me that's said, okay, enough is enough. Now you get into position, right? Get ready, and we need to find ways to maintain these conduits, because they might shut down Zoom, and we might not even be able to get that going.
Well, there's a lot of different ways we can communicate. There's Facebook, there's Skype, there's other platforms. We'll find a way. There is a way. They can't shut everything down. It may be inconvenient, but there's a way to do it.
But like I say, there's going to be a lot of inconvenience, and
because what it could be is that it's packaged, it's put on a cloud, and it's downloaded, and someone that's mirroring our channels puts it on an anonymous channel, and everyone's just go to the anonymous channel.
Yeah, and I think
they can't stop us unless they shut down all of the social media. They're not going to do that.
Well, but look, there are internet kill switches, right? That was.
Well, that's the problem. The problem is if they do an internet kill switch and all communication is shut down for everybody, then that's a problem.
Yeah,
but if you get down to that point, we might as well burn everything down, right?
Well, it's not everything, but maybe a better idea is get to where the switch is, and symbolically turn it back on, right? Because you can't do that to US citizens, right? And my concern is right now that look, I see a second wave coming in China already, okay? And so in 2 to 3 months into the autumn, it'll start popping up elsewhere, I think. I mean, people are going to be more cautious now with the travel, and I think that's hopefully that's mitigated something. I hope. I mean, some way of flattening what's going on, but the second wave, I think, is already started, and the response of the authorities seems to be, well, I want to make sure that we're not silenced, because literally I see us as the only ones who seem to be actually talking sense about what is a very, very
it's not just talking sense. We're talking in deep. I mean, we're really going deep in this stuff. Yeah. And and a lot of people are interested in understanding what happened. The people that are listening to us, they're not looking for just the surface. They want to understand the details, and that's what we're providing. Look, we are doing a great service to try to inform the public. But the thing is that when push comes to shove, we may have to do something a little bit more drastic. Now, what that is, I don't know yet, and when it is, I don't know yet either. But I don't. But the thing is that I'm sensing that the powers that be want to censor us and not let the real story out, because they want that BioPatriot Act, the elements of the BioPatriot Act, coming into play here.
Yeah, I would. We need to make sure that George is all right, and I don't know that Hedges. I don't know if I need to see what he was doing, but if Chris Hedges is talking about, so he talks about the tyranny of the technological state, what the things that we've been doing with respect to corporations running wild over us, and so it might be worth trying to reach out to him. He does have a lot of clout, and getting him on a round table and his
Right. No, yeah, there's a lot, because now we have two working round tables right now.
yeah,
We got
yeah,
the war room, and then we have the round table with Addie, and we
yeah,
can start developing more round tables. But I agree with you. We need to reach out with a lot of different characters that are, in different realms.
yeah.
And we will. But well, let me package this recording, and then I will put the Discord. We'll get it out. We'll get people to to try to go to your new Discord and to spread the word. The more important thing is to spread the word.
Yeah.
And then we'll get that going. And then when I premiere it, I'll send you that it's getting premiered. If you want to stay up for it and
Yeah,
talk to people, that
yeah,
might be, or you may want to do a live stream on your channel while it's premiering for people to ask you questions, or that you do a Q&A after the premiere. There's another way of doing it.
Yeah, I think maybe a Q&A might be a good idea. I'm not going to bed right
but
now.
I'll premiere it tonight.
Okay. What time are you there?
Right now it's 7:36 p.m. and I got something. I have Cliff High's recording this morning that's premiering, and that's gonna continue to premiere for another hour and a half.
Okay.
So we're talking about, we're talking about probably premiering at about 10.
3 hours. Yeah, I mean, I've got stuff to do, so that's fine. I'll get you. I'll keep on Skype. I'm up now anyway, so this is a lock and load situation for me. So sleep has to take a backseat for a bit. So,
okay, let me stop the recording here.
Mm-hmm.